Okay, let's go ahead now and talk about how to edit a path. Now, as you can see here, I have some points and I have this path. What I can do if I want to add points to this so I can have more control, or if I want to change the shape of the path, is I can go to where my pen tool is and I can click and hold my mouse down to get other tools to pop out. As you can see, we have our default pen tool, and under it lives the Add Anchor Point tool. Let's go ahead and choose this one now. And you'll notice that your icon now has a little plus symbol to the bottom right of it. What we can do at this point is we can just place our mouse anywhere along the path and click. And you'll see that we have some new handles and a point in the middle. So I'll go ahead and click here, and I'll click here, and I'll click here. Now what I can do is I can go back here again and I can choose Delete Anchor Point. And just like we could add, this time what we have to do is click on a point to delete it. So I'm going to go to this point and I'll click and it's gone. I'll click here, out of there. Now if you miss, you're going to get this dialog box. And you're going to miss a lot, and I do it all the time. You're going to get a message that says please use the tool on an anchor point. And if you don't want to see this ever again, just simply click here. So I'm going to leave mine on just in case it pops up again, because sometimes these guys are a little hard to click on. So that is how I can easily delete points. Now let's talk about the Convert tool. This is a very interesting tool. It allows you to take a point and convert it into a different type of point. Now when you have a curve like this, these points are called smooth points. And I'm going to click on it like this and turn it into a straight point, all right, or a point that has no curve. So we have a nice straight path. And as you can see, that little dialog box is just going to bother me. I'm going to leave it on though. Just want to show you that you're going to miss a lot. So now, as you can see, we have no more curves because I took this guy and I turned them all into straight paths or corner points. But if I want to get my curves back, never fear. Use the same tool and click. So I'll go over here, I'm going to click, and I'm going to move my mouse and pull out handles. I'll click here, do the same thing. Click here, and I'm getting my curves back. Now don't forget, you can always go in either direction. So if you're not going the right way, simply reverse your direction, and you can get the points to give you a nice, beautiful curve like so. Okay. Now I've talked about in the last part about how we can use the direct selection tool to help us out when we're trying to create something. So I'm going to grab my default pen tool and I'm going to try my best to create a star, and it's going to be horrible. So I'm going to go ahead and click, and I'll click. I'll deliberately mess it up a little bit. Alright, so let's say we have a star and it's just the ultimate disaster. I'm going to close this path by going to the very first point like so. And I think I missed. Let me go ahead and try that again. And there we go. Now, let's go ahead and use the direct selection tool to fix this. So I'm going to click on the white arrow, the direct selection tool. And I'm going to click on the point. And I'm going to move it around. And I'm just eyeballing this here. I'm just going to try to get this straight. Now, what's funny about human nature, or at least from the students that I've taught over the years and watched them work, is that we can't help but try to get things right the first time. It's just how people work. We don't want to waste time. We want to get it right immediately so we can move on to something else. Well, if you want to avoid all kinds of frustration, you have to let go of that notion. And you're going to have to say, I'm going to trust in the force, and I'm going to go ahead and come back later and modify, as you see here. Because let me tell you something, if you try to draw a star or a complicated shape, like a plesiosaur or a flower or something like that, and you get it right the first time, that's great. But chances are good you won't. And even if you get it really close, you're going to find that you want to tweak it. And that's what this guy does. So as you can see, I had a mess at first, but now I was able to modify that. So what I'm going to do is show you how I can move more than one point at a time. I'm going to click over here and just drag my mouse to grab these 2 points inside this boundary. And then I can click on any one of these points and I can move both of them. I can also do that with as many points as I want to. so I can stretch things and move them around and really modify my shape. And just one more thing I want to mention before we close this lesson: the correct way and the wrong way to use the pen tool. First, I'll show you the wrong way. All right? Now, this is one of those few instances where there actually is a wrong way. So if you're trying to draw the profile of a human being's face, don't do this. Don't do this. It's not the right way to do it, and you're going to get a bunch of jaggedy lines, and you're not going to have a bunch of control. All right? So that is the wrong way. All right? That's how you get the ruler across the hand. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and close this one up and show you the right way. The way you do it is you click and you start to think about where you want that curve to go. So I'm going to angle this down like so. Come about around here, click, and I draw out a nice forehead. And then I can come around here, here, and then here. Now, of course, I messed up there, but don't forget, we can come back and clean up. Come over here, and you want to draw it with as few points as possible so you have a lot more control. All right, so once again, I'm going kind of fast, but you get the point. You click out over here, you come with a neck, you come over here, here, and then you can come back over here if you need to, and you can close that shape. Now, of course, this is horrible, but you get the point. You want to control your curves. You want them to be beautiful and elegant, and you don't want them to be jaggedy like this. So you have to get yourself in the habit of trying to think ahead of the game and think about how many actual points and curves you need to draw the shape that you want. So just practice that quite a bit, because once again, if you can master this tool, then you've mastered it in Illustrator, you've mastered it in Photoshop, and you've mastered it in any vector drawing application.